All right, we are going to get started. Brand new thing. Super excited for you to be on this journey with me. I am the Michelle K. I'm a business mentor, strategist, coach, fractional executive, consultant, whatever you want to call it. I've been doing this for about 33 years. I've worked with over 1,000, probably close to 1,200 entrepreneurs at this point, from startup to eight-figure companies. And I've really impacted a lot of financial growth. You can check all the hype out and all the information. That's not the point of this. None of this makes me special. I literally have made every single solitary mistake that there is to make. And what I have done is learned what works and what doesn't work. When you strip away all the BS and all the hype, and you're going to find that's the way I operate. I don't do guru tactics. I don't do quick fixes. I don't do one size fits all. I don't do fluff. I teach you how to build like a CEO and scale like a CEO. And it's with proven systems, solid operations, and truly business fundamentals, the ones that actually work. It's not what's trending on Instagram or TikTok. That's not the point. It's not somebody that's 23 years old selling you a course, because part of it may work, but the reality is real business, you have to start with strategy. You have to know your numbers. You have to work in operations. So every weekday in February, 12:30, thereabouts, I'm going to go live. I'm going to give you straight talk on the 5 pillars that make or break your business. Money and metrics on Monday, CEO clarity on Tuesday, sales without the sleaze on Wednesday, systems and scale on Thursday, and then just real talk on Fridays. So if this works for you, again, I'm going to stumble through this as we're getting started on this. I'm used to recording videos, not going live. But I'm super excited for where this is going because I know the impact this can make. And really, if you're tired of business and the BS that comes around it, and you're really ready to build stuff that works from somebody that's done it for themselves multiple times and a lot of other individuals, you're in the right place. And I'd love to have you come back. All right. So typically we would do this on Monday, but that's a whole nother story. Because our first episode really is going to be money and metrics. And that's what we'll do every Monday going forward. This week, we're mixing it up a little bit as we get started. So let me tell you what happened about 2 weeks ago. And the great news is I have the results for you on the other end. I was on a call with one of my clients, and they really thought they were having a pretty good month. Well, it's like, we're doing okay. And the revenue, it looked okay. Nothing that was throwing big alarm bells for me. And as a mentor, that's really important. I need to check these things with my clients. So when we started to break it down day by day, it turns out he was actually missing over $1,200 a week every single week. $1,200 a week. It doesn't sound like that big a deal. But here's the problem. Math, it's going to tell you the truth. Because $1,200 a week over a month, that's $4,800. Over a quarter, that's $16,000 in your business. A year, $62,400. That's not just a rounding error. Oh, I need about 5,000, and we don't work like that here. That's somebody's salary. That's growth for his business. His business was literally slowly bleeding out, and he didn't know what was happening, and he didn't notice it until we sat down and we ran the numbers, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The only reason, listen to me here, the only reason that we found this is because we stopped looking at just the monthly numbers, which is what everybody typically wants to do. But those monthly numbers, that's looking backwards. We need to look today. When I work with a client, we figure out exactly what you need every single solitary day for your business and your life. It's important. So we started tracking those numbers daily, and I'm going to have a spreadsheet for you after this if you'd like to download it. And as we talk about it, I want to talk about why the monthly numbers lie. Daily tracking, it really does have the possibility to save your business. The system that I use, again, every single solitary day, I and my clients look at what did they make, what came into the bank that day, and what needs to go out. But we have to start with what do we need annually? That's the first place. Because if you don't know what your exact number is, and let me share with you again, I'm no fluff, I'm no BS. I'm going to tell you the real deal. I can literally look up at my whiteboard that is right in front of my face at all times in my office and tell you $5,695.14. Did you catch that? 14 cents. Down to the penny. That is what I need every month in order to take care of my business and the life that I want to lead. Above that, fantastic. But that is my minimum number. And then we have to do the math and go backwards. So here's what most of the business owners that I work with do. They check their bank accounts. They check their credit card accounts. And at the end of the month, they maybe look at QuickBooks. Many do not. Some of them, they get a P&L, a balance statement, all the different things like that. The problem is, by the time you see those numbers, by the time you look at that, it's too late. You're at the end of the month, and typically, you're 2 or 3 weeks later because you're so busy doing what you do, you don't have time. Or you've hired somebody to do it, and they've got other clients as well, and so it takes time. This cannot work. Long term, that's a problem. It's a slow bleed. And that's exactly what we were seeing in his business. But if you're looking at it daily, if you drop a couple $100, you know. And if you drop 200 and you needed 400, then you know tomorrow on the spreadsheet, you need to make an extra $200. We don't just let that go. We see those fluctuations when we track it daily because those little bits add up to that $1,200. And that's in sales. Also, if you're not tracking every expense and you haven't done the math to figure out what your expenses are, that's another area. Oh, I think I need, the number of times I've heard this, I think I need $5,000. Oh, really? So what do you need exactly? That is my question every time. Because $5,695.14, that's what fuels my life. It's important you know this. Here's the other thing I see happen all the time. Let's say you need $8,000 and you hit a $10,000 month. That's fantastic. But next month, you only hit $5,000. That's a problem. We have to look at these numbers every single solitary day. So again, as we talked about, monthly numbers, they lie because they're looking backwards. Day by day, we look at it because then we see the problems that are coming and we can make adjustments on the spot and not when you're $1,200 in the hole per week. Critical information. All right, so that client that we were talking about, he thought he needed $24,000. So we went through and we literally added up every single solitary thing he needed for his business and his life. What was his rent? What was that's for home? Or what was his mortgage payment? What is his rent for his space? What does he need for everything to run the business and everything in his home life? When we figured it up, we also found that he really needed closer to $29,000. So now we had an even bigger problem. we needed to adjust everything and work backwards. And the thing we continued to find is the problem, it wasn't the total, it was the inconsistency. And he also had no idea what activities were driving his revenue because he wasn't looking at it consistently. He just knew what the numbers looked like at the end of the month. He was also working 60 hours a week. The number of clients that I've worked with that literally are making no money in all different categories across businesses and are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, burned out, done, and over it. Because again, the answer is in the daily numbers. When you look at that, you can determine, what are you actually making? Does this make sense? Can I sell this product to somebody or this service to somebody at this price? Without that information, you don't have a clue. You're flying blind. And in business, we can't fly blind. You may get lucky for a while, but it's not a long-term solution. So, one of the things that I want you to do is you have to figure out exactly what your number is, down to the penny. No guessing, no hoping. That is a business strategy, not a wish. So, here's what we need to do for you to calculate your to the penny number. What does it cost you to live personally? How much do you spend on coffee? How about medications? How about a car payment? Insurance? Every single solitary thing. Oh, and don't forget those kids' expenses, because if you have kids, they're very expensive. Debt payments, everything. Add it up. That's your personal costs monthly. Then we need to figure out, what does it cost you to run your business? Are you paying for a streaming service? Do you need to buy new equipment? How about payments on the equipment that you already have? Advertising, office space, contractors, professional services, accountants, every single solitary thing that goes into running your business. And we're going to add it up and get our monthly total for that. That's our business costs. We're going to add those two together. Personal cost plus business cost. That's your baseline. That is not considering any profit, and we have to put that in. I tell my clients, minimum of 30% profit. Minimum. That's where you need to be. Because profit, most of the clients that I start working with think that profit is just what's left over after you get everything done. And sometimes they think it's what's left over before they pay themselves. No, profit is what's going to build your business. Without the profit, you're not building. It's your growth piece. It's your safety net. Have a bad month? That's what it looks like. So we have to build the profit in also. Otherwise, it's just a hobby, guys. That's it. So let's say your personal costs are $6,000 a month. Now, we want to get to the penny, but we're going to round this to make it easy. Your business cost is $4,000 a month. That's a $10,000 baseline. We need to add 30% in, remember, minimum of 30%. So that means your monthly minimum is $13,000 a month. That's $3,000 a week, because now we're going to do the math. $3,000 a week over 5 working days, that's $600 a day. That is what you have to make every single solitary day. And you need to write it down. You can't just do it in your head and hope you've got the right numbers. It doesn't work that way. We have to write it down. So then we're going to calculate what's your hourly rate. So if you're working 40 hours a week and you need $3,000 a week, do the math. You're going to be around $75 per hour. If you're working 60 hours a week, your hourly rate's going to drop to $50. So you need to figure out what that looks like and what's your capacity. That's another call or another stream, because capacity can be your biggest lid. So if you're charging $50 an hour, we start to see how the math really sets us up to succeed or fail. If you're charging $50 an hour and you need 75, $25 every single hour is short. You're working for free 40% of the time. That is not smart. And then you sit down and you talk to these businesses and you wonder why they're exhausted, they're broke, because they don't know their numbers, their daily numbers. You have to know your numbers to the penny, not close, not about, to the penny. Once you know your numbers, everything becomes clear and it becomes easier. We're 2 weeks out, and I had another call with a client today that was $12,000 or $1,200 a week short, and also had the problem with the expenses. And his quote to me today was, "You don't even know. 20 years in business. 20 years in business. And this is easy. I did great on Monday. I met my numbers. I did great on Tuesday. I met my numbers. Yesterday, I was short, but I now know what I have to do today or tomorrow to make sure that I make that week what it has to be." And he knows that he's charging the right price because we've done the math. All right. Here's the other thing I want you to understand. I have literally come from the very bottom and worked my way through 33 years. You don't have to make it complicated. You don't need an accountant to do this. You don't need a complicated system. You don't need fancy software. And you're going to hear me say this over and over again. Because again, we all start somewhere. Even if you're 20 years in business, 15 years in business, and you've never done this for yourself and your business before, we start at the beginning. And then we build bit by bit, brick by brick. So all we need is a basic spreadsheet that you can create in 5 minutes. I'm going to have one for you. And if you reach out to me on any of the other platforms that I'm on, I will get that over to you. No problem whatsoever. Again, I'm not making it difficult for myself. We're just starting on this. I'm also going to document this journey because, as I said, this is not what I normally do. I'm normally meeting with clients and recording some videos to kind of help them out. But I've had so many say, please, please, please start doing lives and let us come on and ask questions. So we're going to have it set up so you can come on and ask questions. But I need to document this journey as well to show you that, again, let me just tell you, if I can do it, anyone can do it. I promise you. And I'm going to show you the way. That's what I've done my whole career. So, simple spreadsheet, okay? You can create it literally in 5 minutes. You're going to pull up Excel or Google Docs or Google Sheets. And I'm a big Google fan because it doesn't cost very much and it's easy to use. So here's what you need. 5 columns, guys. 5. The first one, you need a date. Literally every single day needs to be listed Monday through Friday. Or if you work over the weekends, 6 days, 7 days, whatever that looks like. Number 2, money in. Everything that came in today. We're not going to count anything else. Excuse me. That's payments, sales for your products, deposits, whatever. Whatever that hit your account. Number 3, money out. We're going to track every single solitary penny that goes out the door also. Number 4, categories. What's the money for? Was it client work? Was it marketing, operations? Where did it fit? This will be important as we get more complicated in this. It also helps you see the patterns. Even in your spreadsheet, you will start to see patterns. Number 5, the running total. Money in versus money out. And it shows your cumulative position. Where are you at right at this moment? That's it. Those simple 5 things. And then you do it every day. You write it down every day. Schedule it in, because if you don't schedule it, you won't do it. And you'll end up in the exact same spot you were. So we log our numbers every day. It literally should take you no longer than 3 minutes. If it takes you any longer than 10, you're not doing something right. You're making it too complicated. We're going to look at our total money in for the week, our total money out at the end of the week. What did we make? Do we have any profit? Yes or no? Because we know what our number is now, to the penny. Did you hit your target or not? It's that simple. All right. Then we will start working on our 30% profit. That's another conversation for another day. The spreadsheet, it is so simple. Anyone can do that. Anyone can set that up. And that's the point. You have to have something that is repeatable and easy for you to do. It doesn't have to be fancy. Now, if you've got fancy dashboards and all of that and somebody can build it out for you, awesome. Awesome. But it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be expensive. You need to see what's coming in, what's going out. Am I making any money? Then we deal with the problems that come up from that if you're not. All right. And if you see it daily, I can tell you, you are going to make better decisions. So, next Monday, that's it for today. As I said, this is very no fluff, not a lot of fancy. But next Monday, same time, 12:30, right thereabouts, I'm going to show you an advanced version of this spreadsheet. So we're going to go to the next steps. The one that's going to start talking about pipelines and collected versus generated, project, all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to work on that over the next week. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet, because we're doing this on the fly as we go. As I talk to clients and they ask me things, I'm going to come on and we're going to talk about them and patterns I've seen over the years. But today is the day you change. Today is the day you take action and you start building that foundation, something that you'll see that I'll be bringing up frequently. And you can see they're actually on my desk. These are little bitty baby bricks. All my clients know I work off of the premise of we build one thing at a time, 1 brick, 2 bricks, all the way down the line. So today we're building our foundation and where we're going. But you can only do that if you know exactly what you are spending and need to have to the penny every single solitary month. And then we do the math and we make it simple. So what I'm asking you to do, because if you don't take action, there's no reason for you to come back to these and watch them. Literally, don't waste your time. Take the action. Sit down. I want you to calculate that number to the penny. What does it cost you to live? We've talked about all the things you need to do. Number 2, calculate what it costs you to run your business. Don't have time to do this because you are working 60, 70 hours a week. I get it. I've been there. I've been there more than once. I wish I got things the first time around, but I don't. Take time this weekend. Schedule it in. As I said, if you don't put it down, you are not going to do it because you're exhausted. Take that time and figure out exactly what it costs you for your life and your business. Add 30%. That's your monthly number. That's our target. Then I want you to divide it for weekly. Divide it for daily. Write that number down like I have, 5,695.14. That's what I'm looking for. Then I want you to build your spreadsheet. The date, the money in, the money out, the category, the running total. 5 minutes to build that spreadsheet. And I want you to track your numbers every single day. Don't wait to fill it in on a Friday. You won't do it. It's action, my friends. It is so incredibly important. You have to take action, even when the numbers are ugly. More importantly, when the numbers are ugly. When you're wondering how in the heck you're going to do the next thing, pay the next thing, pay your employees, pay yourself, pay your mortgage, pay your rent. You have to do it. Because if you don't, nothing changes. nothing changes. And I won't give you the fluff and the BS. I won't. All right. Just a final thought as we walk through this, because we're 2 weeks out and I'm on the other side. And when I heard him say this morning, it's such a game changer to know what's coming in and going out every day. And he said, it's not hard anymore. I'm not afraid anymore because I know. Again, somebody that's done this for 20 years. He's been in business 20 years. So you can stumble through, but it's not going to feel good. And that's not why you're in business. Don't let those monthly numbers hide or lie to you. Track it daily. You got to know your numbers to the penny, friends. With that, I'm Michelle K. Money and Metrics, not Monday today, Thursday. I'll see you back here tomorrow at 12:30. We're going to hit one of the other topics. I don't know. We may go to the Friday topic. We may not. Next Monday, we're going to build on that foundation. We're going to take those bricks and move from the first one to the second one and move a little deeper in. If you have questions and you need more help, again, you can drop stuff in any of my social media spots. You know how to do that. Send me a message. I'd love to have a further conversation. And I'm not pressure. I don't need more clients. I'm doing this to help as many people as I possibly can. Now, if you need that, great. We'll have a conversation, but there's never any pressure. With that, I'm Michelle K. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon.